Oh, sweet, free legendary!
What did you call me?
Free legendary! Ladies, gentlemen, and Harajam of all ages, I say it all the time and I know it's still true. The goal of every person playing Diablo 4 is to get more powerful. There will come a time where we have all reached our maximum potential and we're just hanging out enjoying Sanctuary. But in this first blitzing of the game, this first rush of excitement as we embark on our first journey to 100, power is the goal. And power is achieved mainly in two ways: leveling quickly and getting loads of legendaries. Well, today I've got a lovely location and strategy to share with you all that accomplishes both with incredible efficiency, and one that has as of yet been untouched by Blizzard. Hopefully it doesn't get changed because this one is really spicy. Of course, there are other locations that have this type of effect, lovingly referred to as loot caves. Oh, and in case you're wondering, this is why they're called that. But of all the ones that I have tried and tested out so far, this one ekes out on efficiency above all of them. Not a crazy amount, but a pretty sizable one. And to put it in perspective, doing this dungeon strat solo gives you more experience per hour than doing Champion's Demise in a 3-man group, which is generally considered the gold standard of XP gain. As for legendaries, I did about 25 minutes of this for the footage in the background of this video for you and got, well, 17 legendaries and 2 uniques, which is an incredibly good ratio on that too. All that said, what is our loot cave of choice here? Well, the fun part is that this one actually is a cave. Specifically, it is a dungeon in the Helltide region called Ruined of Eridu, over on the western side of the swamp in the bottom. If you haven't been to this specific area, you can actually open your Codex of Power and click on the sacrificial aspect. This is the reward for completing the Ruined of Eridu dungeon, and if you click on it in your Codex, it will pin this on the map even if you have never been to this area before. So head on over to that dungeon then. If you are like me and have been doing tons of Helltides, you probably have more elixirs than you could ever feasibly use, so pop any of them for the 5% experience bonus that they give you, go inside and start running. Within the first 5 to 10 seconds, you will hit the first pack of enemies, and the beauty of this dungeon is that all of the monsters are just incredibly densely packed. Deal with the first group as you move and head towards the central cave chamber. From here, there are 3 directions: up, down, and forwards. You'll be clearing both up and down, as essentially this is a circle with a little line connecting it through the middle. So pick one of these directions and then go. Wrap around the entire outside circle, clearing out all of the enemies. There is usually a shrine or 2, 1 on each side, sometimes 2 on the same side. Sometimes there's a resplendent chest for extra goodies as well, but the big thing is that the mob density here is insane, and that actually includes elites as well. A fun thing to note here is that this is a slay all enemies objective area, and they actually fiddled with this objective type after the beta because people complained that it was annoying to find all of the mobs in the tiny corners of every dungeon and stuff like that. So what they did was make it so once you reach certain breakpoints in the remaining monsters threshold, a big pack of bonus monsters will spawn on top of your head that also counts towards this number. That pack also includes a bunch of elites and extra enemies, so essentially by killing as many monsters as you can as quickly as you can, which is what we want to do anyways, you actually spawn in a bunch of new monsters that will just pop into existence on top of you. You don't even have to run around finding them, they come on top of you and they include multiple elites. By the time you clear this floor of the dungeon, you will easily kill 12 to 15 elites, and my runs were averaging about 1 minute and 20 seconds apiece. Generally, they were down to about 1 minute mark, but when my lucky hit procs were struggling, it was more like 1 minute 40, so we're gonna average that at 1 minute and 20 seconds. Every run was giving me about 500,000 experience and an average of 1 legendary. Sometimes I got none, it did happen, but sometimes I got 4 or 5 in one go. If we extrapolate those numbers, 500 1,000 experience every 80 seconds would be about 22.5 million experience per hour solo, an incredible result. As well, we call it 1 legendary per run, and it's about 45 legendaries and or uniques per hour too. As again, I got 2 uniques with my 17 legendaries, which is a really important note, as the unique drop rate is actually pretty decent in here too. Again then, your goal is basically just clear out the entire entire floor of enemies, left, right, doesn't matter which way you go. It's a circle, you'll get along the whole place in the same way. Don't spend too long on less dense areas because again, the monsters will teleport on your head if you just take out the bigger, denser packs. Then once you're done with that, open your emote wheel and click the Leave Dungeon button. Once you've loaded out of there, press Escape and log out to Character Select. After that, log back into your character and you'll be back in front of the dungeon, but the dungeon will be reset. So walk in and start the process all over again. Unfortunately, this will get rid of your elixir, but that's just sort of how it is. You can just spam weak elixirs for the extra 5% XP, or alternatively you could use the group farm method instead. If you do this in a group, it's actually a fair bit faster, though 2 people is the maximum for increasing efficiency, as again, it's a circle, there's only 2 pathways, you'll just meet up in the middle. That said, if you bring a second person, you could probably cut down the average time by 20 seconds, on top of also getting the group XP bonus. So while 22.5 million is what you would get solo, which again is insanely good for solo experience farm in Diablo 4, in a group it could actually become a fair bit higher than that even still. That said, if you are doing it in a group, you don't need to log out or anything like that. All you do is have the party leader leave, have the other player leave the dungeon using the emote wheel, then the party leader invites the other person again, and then you can go right back in. What this does is output both of you right outside of the dungeon and also reset it, which is just really efficient. I hope you've enjoyed this then. That's pretty much everything. The brand new Loot Cave in Diablo 4, insanely good both for getting experience and for getting legendaries and uniques in as short a time as possible. I'm sure I'll see you all start gathering outside of this cave between runs as we turn the servers into a giant pile of mush trying to handle how many players are just in this one specific place. Hopefully this doesn't get nerfed anytime soon. I mean, the main thing that even makes this effective as it is in the first place is a straight up design choice from Blizzard themselves that was actually a response to criticism in the beta, which is the way that they handle the slay all enemies objective. Honestly, I sort of think that's funny because in a way, people complaining about something unrelated to experience and loot farm created a new experience and loot farm. It's almost like we accidentally tricked them into giving us something that we wanted that they don't really want us to have.
Checkmate.
The result, though, is that at least in this one specific dungeon, it's just an incredibly dense field of enemies that you can make more spawn on top of your head no matter which way you go. It's a nice looping circle of an area, so you don't even have to turn around or turn back and run backwards at all. It just flows super nicely. You are never going to stop fighting when you're inside. In and out, just over a minute with all of the spoils you could ever ask for, all of the rewards you could ever want from this type of activity. Let us know if you find more efficient farming grounds, and we'll of course check them out and share them with the world if they're actually good enough. But for now, I hope you all enjoy your newest farming activity and you have a good time grinding it into the ground, turn it into dust. Like if you like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more. And most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.